morning, everyone. The international break is over. We're back to regular games, and welcome to the Saturday show with me, Carl Levy. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday show. It's just turned 11 o'clock here in Edinburgh. Hope you're all well. Hope you have a good, decent weekend as well. As I'm on myself, good morning. No Doug on today, so he's busy as he's getting ready. This is his final week or so before he's due. His wife is close to having their baby. But yes, hopefully we will have some guests coming on the show. And, it's good to see everyone on here join as well. I'd like to say good morning to Mike. Mike, yes, you're free to jump on if you want as well. I know you keep that's fine. That's no problem if you keep count off. I've got too long waking up myself as well. So, but like I said, I want you to join me if you want to. Everyone can join me as well. Just click on the link here below in the chat. We'll get you on during the course of the program. We're going to talk about a lot today, about a few things today, about the Ten Hag Sancho riff. Is Jadon Sancho's career at Man United over after he's been made a scapegoat by Ten Hag, and also we'll talk about Jude Bellingham's decline, exit start to his origin career, and later we'll talk about the Premier team news and predictions as well. And speak of the devil, we have got a guest joining us as well, and we'll say good morning to Mike in a second as once I get all my layouts ready. And good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Yeah, good morning, mate. Hope you're well. Been a long time since I've been on one of these. Obviously, the season's technically still quite fresh, isn't it? To be honest, so it's still getting into the swing of the season, but I'm not too bad. Hopefully, yourself is all good. And I'm acting as Doug today, so if you need me to bring a good old Scottish accent, I'll try my best.
I appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to talk about your team, Manchester United, and also talk about Newport County later on in the show. But we have to talk about the start off with what's going on with the club. The Ten Hag, Jadon Sancho riff, Eric Ten Hag is unsure if Wig will play for Man United again, as he announced in his press conference yesterday. Ten Hag said at the time he had been excluded because his training performances were below standard. And he asked if he was going to play for the club again. Ten Hag said, I don't know. And Sancho's comment was made in the social media comment that his subject deleted. And yeah, he said, tomorrow we have a big game at home against Brighton. We are going to go into a new block of games. Many games in the considered program. I focus on that. He's not available in this moment, so he's not important, so he can't contribute. Mike, this riff, when after the game against Arsenal, when Man United lost 3-1 to Arsenal, Ten Hag made a comment about Sancho not, about his training performances, and Sancho coming out with that social media comment. It's a rift. Do you think it's a lot of both parties to blame at this moment, the way this has been coming out in public?
Look, I really respect both parties. I think Eric Ten Hag is an incredible coach and has been done really dirty by the ownership and the hierarchy of the club. And again, Jadon Sancho, when he was signed, I think a lot of people agreed, one of the best young talents in world football at the time when he was doing what he was doing at Dortmund, like Bellingham was doing at Dortmund at that young age, and everyone was expecting Sancho to hit the heights that Jude has hit, which we're going to talk about Jude later. I think he's absolutely incredible, Bellingham. But we'll talk about this first. And yeah, I think Ten Hag was right to say what he said because, you don't want players thinking 5 or 6 out of 10 in training is good enough. Sir Alex Ferguson, Jurgen Klopp, Guardiola, they expect 11 out of 10 every single week, whether it's in a match day or training. And I think Tony Pulis said it before that you train as you are in a match. You don't see training as just a kickabout with the lads. You see it as preparations for the next game. So I can see Ten Hag's point of view saying, he's sloppy in training, he's late to training. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the club have had to personally set alarms and reminders for Sancho to get him into training, which seems very basic and very, childish like. But if that's what's needed to obviously get him to training, then fair enough. And then Sancho's side of it, again, I kind of agree with both sides, because Sancho, the way Sancho's seeing it is, I'm not getting picked, and the players that are getting picked ahead of me are doing nothing, and I'm just sat here on the bench, not getting a chance. But then, does he deserve a chance because of the poor training? It's so awkward, because he's a good player and he's probably going to offer a lot more than what Anthony is on the right currently. Well, obviously don't know what's going on with him currently, but I come back to your point that you originally asked. Is it both parties to blame? Yes. How do you resolve it? Ten Hag has to just stamp his authority. He's the manager. Anyone that undermines the manager should be gone. I don't agree. I don't obviously agree with Sancho refusing to apologise and then putting a post deleting it. It just seems childish from Sancho, and I just think it was unnecessary. And Ten Hag did not need that after obviously the Greenwood situation, the Anthony situation, all the injuries. He just doesn't need this.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. For Jadon Sancho, from his player perspective, Mike, what does he do? Did he facilitate a move away from the club in January? To or go to loan? What is going to be the plan now going forward if Sancho doesn't respond to these changes, these adjustments to make sure he trains properly?
Well, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go Erik ten Hag. Well, I think as much as obviously player power is a large thing, you've got to always respect your hierarchy, and you've always got to respect the people above you. So if Ten Hag says, look, this is ridiculous, players at this club are basically telling me what to do, this is a joke. So he could say, you've got to go. And then Sancho's got no option. But then on the other side of it, if Ten Hag says you've got to go, Sancho could say, well, I've still got this much remaining on my contract. I'll just sit here and take the earnings whilst to run my contract down. But I think he's ambitious, Sancho. I think he's got a lot of ambition about him. So if that's the case, I think he'll say, right, I'm off then. He'll go and do absolutely bits somewhere else, and it'll just be one of those that a bit of a Ravel Morrison situation where thought he was too big for the club, thought he was too big for, thought he was bigger than the manager, leaves the club, and then it could either go the way where I think it'll go, where you'll go and blitz it at whatever team he joins, or just decline massively from here. That's what happened to Lingard, wasn't it? He went out on loan to West Ham, done brilliant, come back, thought he was this brilliant player because he had a good 6 months at West Ham, and it's just declined for him, and now he could be back at West Ham. So, even that one is just, I think it could go the way of Lingard, but it's only time will tell. But I think he will move in January if Ten Hag says, you have to go, basically.
Absolutely. And like I said, you compare what's going on with the club as well, situation with what's going on with Anthony as well, and that's another drama as well. Do you think Ten Hag does not need these situations at this moment when he's trying to rebuild the club? He's been he's been undermined by the Glazers ownership about them, selling the club, as rumors that they don't want to sell the club, and vice versa. Do you think this is effectively undermining him so much? After this summer, it's been chaos.
Yeah, I mean, look, he came into the club with an ambition that I'm gonna come here first season, figure out the squad, because when you come into any club, first season's so hard unless it just clicks. So what he done in that first season was purely remarkable. No, obviously didn't win a title, but third, two finals, one trophy, managed the Ronaldo situation, had other situations which I don't want to keep bringing up in the back, had the Glazers, saying they want to sell, then don't want to sell. Then you had, all the injuries, and it was a car crash at the end, which somehow we stumbled over the line to get that top four in the end. But yeah, I think he doesn't need this whatsoever. It's unnecessary. It's the Glazer thing. No matter what manager you put in there, they're gonna be what they are, and what everyone has said they always will be. But the Anthony thing, the Sancho thing, even the Maguire thing, that's just another thing that just doesn't need to be brought in. I think Southgate has really, not directly but indirectly, ruined Ten Hag with this Maguire thing, because now Ten Hag feels like he has to praise Maguire and he has to, feel sorry for Maguire when ultimately Maguire is, everyone says that Southgate picks Maguire because he never lets England down. He scored an own goal on Monday night or Tuesday night, so they can't use that argument anymore. So yeah, I think he's been done dirty. And the scary thing is, I absolutely love Ten Hag, but I think he could walk. I don't know if he will, but I think he may end up walking if it gets this bad.
Yeah, there's been talks about in the bookies that he's one of those few managers, might be the first few managers to be sacked, which is a bit surprising, which is a bit interesting. And if he does walk, then how does Man United look at a new manager? Because it's just so much chaos going on. And how are you going to get a new manager?
The thing is, sorry to interrupt you, Carl, but the thing is, the media hated Ten Hag from day one. Because if you remember, it was Pochettino, Ten Hag, Gary Neville, Ferdinand. Everyone was on the back of Pochettino. So what's going to happen? I've seen Goldbridge say this. Ten Hag's going to get sacked, and the media are going to say, you should have gone for Pochettino. Pochettino is the answer. Premier League proven. And it's just not the case. Pochettino or Ten Hag there's no comparison for me.
No, you can't compare. I'm sorry, you cannot compare to someone like Pochettino. There's no disrespect. He's won titles in a Farmers League in League Earn when Ten Hag was part of Guardiola's coaching at Bayern Munich, learned from him and actually put that information, what he did at Ajax, and played some really, really, really good football. Despite and what has Pochettino done? Since post Spurs, he's not done much post Spurs. Only winning the league earned, that's it, and getting to the, that's it. Just winning the league earned. That's all he's done. So how can you compare that?
Anyway, that was literally is if you don't win league or as PSG manager, you're terrible, basically. So
yeah,
I mean, that's why I feel sorry for Ten Hag, because as immediately as he started, he was under the cosh straight away before
he was.
Nothing happened, which was. It's not what you want to see. And I think foreign players get that as well. The English media protect the English players, and they absolutely nail the foreign players when they have a chance to. It's so bad, but it just happens.
I 100% agree. It is disrespectful, especially, like I said, Ten Hag. Like I said, I do remember, like I said, they all wanted Pochettino. I'm like, Ten Hag is a good manager. You just, and he's like Pep, and it's like what happened in Pep's first season. He was treated by the media after they finished fourth, and look where they have been doing since then. When he finished. Well,
yeah, because he brought in Claudio Bravo, didn't he? And then literally after 6 months, he's like, right, this ain't gonna work. This is absolutely diabolical, because Bravo was dropping stinkers after stinkers after stinkers. Yeah, and it was like Guardiola. You could just see Guardiola was like, yeah, this ain't working. We're getting a new one. He's brought in Edison, and never look back, really, have they? So I hate City anyway, but let's not talk about City.
Before we go into this to Jude Bellingham situation, we'll talk about your team Newport as well. How's your season been with Newport this season?
Very, very odd. If you could name the most weirdest season, it'd be us, because we started the season at Accrington. And there was so much promise going into the season, thinking we could do something. We get battered there 3-0. And then we go and beat Doncaster the next week 4-0. Then we go and knock Charlton out of the cup 3-1. I think then we lost 4-2. And then the week after, I think we won 3-1. It just seems like we either get battered or we batter someone. We got battered last week against Crawley 4-1. So I'm hoping today we put 4 past Barrow. It just seems I think we've got the most goals in League Two between our games, so 4 and against, because we've been battered 3-0 once, 4-2 once, 4-1 once. Is terrible. But I think we're sitting 11th or 12th. We could go into the playoffs with a win and results go our way. So is interesting, but it's just weird. You just don't know what to expect. Don't put us on your acca to win.
No, listen, I haven't played acca for a while, but I would not put Newport as one of them at the moment. No disrespect. I can't even put my own team leagues as well sometimes. So even though we should have won against Sheffield Wednesday before the international break, we got the draw. So it was like, all right. We had so many chances, we just couldn't even get the win. And we're just like, all right, okay, well, this is welcome back to the championship mentality. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go into the next topic and talk about Jude Bellingham. He's had a very, very excellent start to his Real Madrid career. He's been really contributing a lot to that team in the first few games for La Liga. And Mike, Real Madrid got him at the right time. No wonder that no disrespect to Doug, but Liverpool couldn't get it because of the situation. But I think this was a good move for him for his career.
Yeah, he's a Galactico, isn't he? He is. You talk. It's giving me goosebumps already. You talk about these unbelievable Real Madrid players over the years: Ronaldo, Zidane, Benzema, Modric, Kroos. The team that is the players they got coming through now: Valverde, Rodrigo, Vinicius. The players that they've got is, I could see it happening. What I'm about to say, I don't know if it will happen, but Kylian Mbappe could be joining that team. And if that does happen, you've got the best team in world football for the next 10 years, because that attack of Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo with Bellingham sat behind, there's nothing that is stopping that. And just to take it away from that and go back to Jude, I've never seen a player in a different league, a completely different style of league, at that age, doesn't speak the language, probably barely knows anyone in that league, never mind his own team, and he is winning games for Real Madrid. He scored the winning goal against Getafe. Even in pre-season against Man United, that goal he scored, he is just... there's no words or there's no things that is missing from his game. His physicality, he's broad, he's built strong, he's quick. He wins headers in the air. He's brilliant on the floor. His skills and tricks is there. His passing is outrageous. I'm jealous that he's English, because my God, he is. I literally can't say much more, Cal, because he is incredible. He is absolutely superb.
Absolutely, he is indeed as well. And look, I don't know if you watched the game between Scotland and Tuesday, but
yeah,
he looks so incredible. And no one, the Scottish midfield and the back four did not know what to do with Bellingham, because he was on a different level. And he linked with so much, with the goals, contributes to the goals. Can you see him as a future England captain in the next 5 to 10 years' time?
Yeah. I mean, it depends what happened to Harry Kane, isn't it? Because at the moment, Harry Kane has probably still got another 4 or 5 years left in him, really. He's that good. And he will become an England captain for sure eventually. To go to Real Madrid, this is the thing that, again, goosebumps already, but this is the thing that just shows me that he doesn't care. He's gone to Real Madrid and he has taken the 5 that Zidane wore, and he is absolutely flourishing, and he just doesn't look like there's no limit. Like, every time you watch him play, you're just like, he's going to score. He's going to score an assist.
Yeah.
He is going to be an England captain, and that midfield of Bellingham and Rice is absolutely exceptional.
Oh yeah, absolutely, indeed, absolutely. That midfield, they've replaced. I know with Modric and Toni Kroos is soon to be going to be. They're going out with the crease in the next year or two, so before they move on, they've got that midfield replaced. And I think if they do get Mbappe, like you said, that is going to be the best team probably in the world for the next decade, because they know they've got that talent there, and they can. And I think at this moment, I think in my mind, I think Madrid are going to be Champions League winners by the end of the season. I have a feeling they're going to do it again. I think they're going to do it.
I thought that, and then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Bayern Munich, because
I think those are the two teams who will get to the final.
They play so well when they had Lewandowski. Obviously, they lost Lewandowski. They were a bit. Obviously, they still won the league last year, only just, but they just played a bit different last year, and then they've just gone and dropped Harry and it's just like, Harry Kane, could he finally win a trophy? What a trophy it would be to win the Champions League. I don't know, but Real Madrid, Bayern Munich are definitely favourites, 100%.
I think they are definitely favourites, both those teams. And I would not like to say Man City, but I think Man City will miss out, I think, this time, because they now want it now that it's the monkey off their back. I think they will focus on the Premier League more again with Arsenal, but I think it's Real Madrid and Bayern Munich.
If that's a final, Carl, that is an amazing final. Bellingham against Kane. Yeah. England captain against future England captain, potentially. Oh, that would be incredible.
Absolutely, indeed. Good morning, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Yes. We'll talk about your team in the shortly as well. What a result for Leicester last night as well.
Yeah, great result.
To me, Southampton looks dreadful. They look really dreadful with it.
Yeah, I actually watched that game because I had the darts on the second screen, and I was like, I literally flipped my head. I was like, oh, Leicester 1-0 up. I didn't even notice that, so I literally rewinded it to go and see the goal. Literally like 21 seconds, 22 seconds. Jamie Vardy. I'm like, all right then, Leicester look good.
No, they look really good this season, man. I've been amazed by Leicester's quality play. Actually, I really liked it. For Southampton, they started decently well against Sheffield Wednesday, but they've been on a bit of the ropes a little bit. Southampton a little bit, with the last few results, especially this last night's game as well. Do
you think Ward-Prowse has hurt them, losing Ward-Prowse? Because that was massive part of their team. I know Lavia is brilliant, but there's different levels between Lavia and Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse in that team just changes Southampton, but
yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. The party continues for Vardy. Yeah. Yes, I know, Chris. You was at the game last night, and I saw your picture last night. You were at the game last night, and hope you enjoyed it with the hundreds of thousands of Leicester fans enjoyed you last night. The other game result last night was Hull drew 1-1 against Coventry City. With Coventry, they've had a bit of a tough start, 4 draws. Are they really struggled up front after Victor Gorkas left for Sporting Lisbon, because they have been struggling for goals to try and win games at the moment.
Yeah, well, they brought in Ellis Sims, didn't they, from Everton to try and fill the void. And I know Chris is going to love this as a Leicester fan, but I think Coventry have been punching above their weight for the last 2 seasons. I think mid-table to bottom mid-table is where they are. They're not a promotion chasing team. You looked at the teams in the playoffs last season, and with all due respect, not many. I'd say, Sunderland, Luton. What was it? Sunderland, Luton,
Coventry, and
Blackpool. No, not Blackpool. What am I about?
Blackburn.
Blackburn, yeah. No, not Blackburn. It was Middlesbrough, sorry.
That was it, yeah.
Out of them, Middlesbrough were the only team that I could have seen got promoted and stayed in the league. The others, like Luton, we'll talk about Luton probably later, but yeah. Anyway, sorry to sidetrack, but yeah, I think Coventry are definitely struggling without Gyökeres up front.
Yeah, and even Chris really agrees with you with that one, actually, Mike.
You're welcome, Chris. You're welcome, mate.
Good. Yeah, so let's talk about today's games. We've got the 12:30 kickoff between Wolves and Liverpool. We'll get the team news shortly as well. Crystal Palace away at Aston Villa, who have been tremendous on form as well. Fulham out home to Luton. Man United is at home to Brighton. Sheffield United away at Spurs. Man City away at West Ham. And Newcastle at home at Brentford in a 5:30 kickoff. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers play 12:30 kickoff against St Johnstone. Celtic at home to Dundee at 3 o'clock, with Hearts at home to Aberdeen. Kilmarnock at home to Nick Hibernian under the new manager Nick Montgomery. Motherwell at home to St Mirren, and Ross County at home to Livingston. In the Championship, we've got Blackburn at home to Middlesbrough, West Brom away at Bristol City, Rotherham away to Huddersfield, Norwich against Stoke, Preston at home to Plymouth, QPR against Sunderland. I know Michael Bauer is going to that game today. Hope you have a good trip, mate. And we know Sheffield United at home to Ipswich, who are really tremendous on the 4th line at the moment. Ipswich, Birmingham away to Watford, and Cardiff at home to Swansea in a huge derby at 7:45 tonight. In League One, we've got Barnsley at home to Burton, Derby at home to Portsmouth, 2 former Premier League teams. It's weird for a long time. Cheltenham away to Exeter, Fleetwood at home to Oxford United, Lincoln City at home to Carlisle, Peterborough at home to Leyton Orient, Northampton away at Port Vale, and it's between Reading. It's Reading against Bolton, and Shrewsbury against Bristol Rovers, and Charlton under the new manager Michael Appleton away to Stevenage, Wigan at home to Cambridge, and Wickham at home to Blackpool, and League Two. We've got Accrington at home to Sutton United, who are in the bottom two at the moment. Crewe away at Wimbledon. We've got Bradford at home to Harrogate, another Yorkshire derby. Colchester against Mansfield. Crawley at home to Tranmere. Doncaster away at Forest Green. Gillingham at home to Morecambe. We've got MK Dons against Stockport. Newport against Barrow. Walsall away at Swindon, and Wrexham at home to Grimsby. Yes, good morning. Good morning, Yeti. Hope you're well, my friend, as well. Hope you're well this morning. Hope you join listening to us. PSG of the championship. Yeah, well, you kind of are, aren't you, Chris? You are PSG the championship. So, yeah. True. You're right, Mike, with that one. It seems like early days. You said, yeah, but signs of last season. Just win the game, try to win games at the moment. And I think that's a good point with Chris, especially what happened last season with Leicester. It was a bit of it just was the way they're not wanted to be, but they are winning games at the moment. Mike, yeah, interesting games today. The Welsh derby, that is going to be interesting tonight between Cardiff and Swansea. Two teams, in opposite directions at the moment, to be quite honest with you, because they're both, I think, like I say, we'll look at the championship table, both teams at the bottom, and it's not been a good start for both Welsh clubs.
No, I was actually really gutted because I wanted to go to this game, but when I went to go and buy one of the tickets through one of my mates who's a Swansea fan, because I'm not going in that Cardiff end, they literally just sold out. They sold out as I was about to buy one. It was only like 16 quid as well. Gutted. So I literally would have gone to Newport Barrow, jumped on the train to Cardiff, but I'll watch it on TV instead, or in the comfort of my own home. I absolutely love this game because it gets attention around the country and it gets the media coverage of the country, which is obviously good, and it's always good that these two stay in the championship. As much as I'd love Cardiff to get relegated into, the depths of non-league and just stay there and rot. No.
I 100% agree with that one. So
yeah. No, but in all seriousness, these two need to stay in the championship for obviously the country to obviously develop from it. Because obviously, if they're constantly being in the championship, they're going to constantly be on Sky, and it's constantly going to be 2 games a season where Sky focuses just on South Wales, which is important. In terms of the actual game, Swansea are currently on 4 in a row against Cardiff, which, first of all, they broke record for the first time a South Wales derby in 137 years, and then they went even better last season and done the double again. So they're on a double-double at the moment, which is absolutely incredible. And they beat Cardiff at their ground last year 4-0. So, I'm really hoping that Swansea can just either just avoid defeat. If Cardiff beat them, I'll be really gutted, but both teams have got some very good players and very good squads. It's crazy to see how both of them are struggling, but a lot of them have got aging players, which is why, like Ramsey for Cardiff, Joe Allen for Swansea. Yes, I love both of them, but, you can see the fatigue in each game. Ramsey, especially against Leeds on the opening game. I don't know if you saw the game, but after like 50, 60 minutes, Ramsey looked absolutely knackered. Like he was struggling to run for balls, and that's why they've got like Ike Ogbo up front, who's going to press like a monster. And the wide players as well. Bowler, I think, is a very good player, so it's going to be an interesting game. Very strange for a 7:45 kickoff. I really don't know why South Wales Police have allowed that, because people are going to be drinking all day in Cardiff City Centre. That's going to be a car crash. There's going to be fights galore, I think, which is half the reason why I'm glad I'm not going. But yeah, in terms of a prediction, because I don't want to sit on the fence with it. I'm going to go 1-0 Swansea, just because I can't stand Cardiff. So I think it's going to be a cracking game. And like both managers said, they hate each other. The players hate each other. The fans hate each other. It's rivalry to the max.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with you with that one. As much as I hate Cardiff, I have no respect. I have good disrespect for Swansea. You know, yes, we bought Joe Pratt off them. Fair enough, they needed the money a bit anyway. But I think Swansea will continue this unbeaten run. I would be surprised, if Cardiff wins, but I just can't see it. I'm going to go 1-0 to Swansea as well. I think they'll keep it tight for most of the game and
I
take the
think
3 points. I would go.
I think out of the last four games that Swansea have beaten Cardiff, Cardiff a lot more stronger this time than the previous four. So if this is a time that Cardiff had to beat Swansea, it's now, because they've got Aaron Ramsey in their team. They've got their new manager who looks really good, at Bullock. Callum Robinson, is trying to get back into the form that he showed at West Brom. So this is their best chance. If they don't do it now, they're not beating them at the Swansea.com stadium, because at home, Swansea look really good.
They do really do. Just got some team news between Wolves and Liverpool. There's 2 changes for Wolves, and also Quarash starts red. So we are hearing that Wang Chi-Chan has been recalled. Fabio Silva and Pablo Sabla have dropped to the bench. Tommy Doyle, loan signing, is among the substitutes. For Liverpool, we do have a start for 20-year-old Jarrell Quanash, with Virgil that being suspended and Trent Alexander injured. Corey Gakpo and Diego Jota also start, with Nunes, Konate, and Diaz among the substitutes. So the team news is we've got Jose Saint goal, Semedo on the right, Craig Dawson in the middle with Max Kilman and Ryan Alt-Nori, John Richard Belgrade in the midfield with Joao Gomez, Mel Lima, and Pedro Neto, Manes Kuna, and Huang Li-Chan up front. Liverpool with Becker, Kwanzaa, Matip, Joe Gomez, Andy Robertson, Subazas, Slatlai, McAllister, Jones, Salah, Gakpo, and Diego Jota up front. So that is the team news for both those teams in the early kickoff here. So, as it's now come to just after 11:30, we'll have to talk about the Premier Team news as well. We're going to start off with the game. We'll come at lunchtime, Mike. Wolves against Liverpool. What do you think of those teams? Surprised with Liverpool playing a young academy player in that back four against a very good Wolves side that is really looking decent under Gary O'Neill since he came in at the last minute.
Yeah, I'm looking at their bench, Liverpool. I'm confused. They've got Konate on the bench. They've got Wataru Endo, who can play as
Endo, yeah.
There's 2 players there that could easily play centre back, and I'm even Joe Gomez could play centre back, and he could put Timikas as one of the fullbacks. So I'm really confused by that from Klopp. Wonder if there's a bit of a knock from Konate or one of the players on the bench, Endo maybe, because I know he did go to, obviously, I think he went on internationals with Japan. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He partly
he's obviously got faith in his centre back, because we know as much as we hate Jurgen Klopp for all the moaning and stuff like that. He's very much a manager that he won't play you unless he's got faith in you. So there must be something in training that he's seen in that Kwanzaa that obviously he believes in, and maybe feels that obviously it's a right chance to give him a go. I mean, he's got a midfield in front of him who are very capable. He's got a goalkeeper behind him that could bail him out if needed. Again, it's a weird one with the options on the bench, but I'm sure we'll get a bit of a moan from Jurgen if they lose 1-0 and it's Kwanzaa's fault. Well, I didn't have my players fit, Virgil's out and stuff like this. I'm sure we'll hear all that from him. But in all seriousness, it'll be interesting to see how this young centre-back goes. Obviously, I've never heard of him. I doubt many others apart from Liverpool fans have. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Bit odd against a physical Wolves side with Cunha up front and Neto and Juan, who are obviously quick and a strong midfield. But like I said, I literally know nothing about him, so it's just going to be interesting to see how he gets on. And all good luck to him, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you see this? But what would be your prediction score for this for the early kickoff between Wolves and Liverpool?
I think it's a difficult one because Wolves, when they first came into the Premier League, we all know that game against Man City at Molineux. We all know the game against Man United at Molineux. They came into the Premier League with this unbelievable style of play, and they were playing tiki-taka football under Nuno, and it was very easy on the eye. But the last couple of years, they look like a Burnley. They look like a part of the bus team, hit you on the break. I don't see anything other than a Liverpool win and by a comfortable margin, 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, I also agree with you. I think it's going to be 2-0 with Liverpool. I think, like you said, Wolves have become turned to be like Burnley. I think, like you said, if I think the issue is if they transport it, when they kept players so long, I think they knew that they had to refresh, but they didn't do that, and I think it's paid the price for it, especially what's going on in their financial fair play situation as well. So
yeah, I think Matinho was they hang on to him for a bit too long, and Neves as well. Neves wanted to leave at the end of last season, at the end of 2 seasons ago now, but they basically said no, we'll qualify, because I think they basically said to him, we're going to try and qualify for the Conference League, and we're trying to build on and get back into Europe.
Yeah.
That never happened, and he was like,
No.
well, I'm off then. You sold me a fake dream. So, I'll agree with that. They did hang on to players past the date that they should have got rid of them.
Absolutely. Let's go to Aston Villa and Crystal Palace and match facts head-to-head. Villa have only lost 1 of the last 11 home games against Palace. They've won 6 and drawn 4. Palace have only scored 4 goals in those matches, never scored more than once. Mike, we know that Diego Carlos is out with a minor hamstring injury, and also his games come too soon for Jacob Ramsey, Ben Troy, and Team Ingram. Palace are about Matt Guay, who's also just had his hit playing for England against Scotland. So even James Tompkins is out injured and Jeffrey Lerma out as well. But we know that Alex Moreno is in contention for his return as well. Can you see this? This is going to be a good game. Can you see some goals in this game, or do you think Villa's got too much power, especially with how they started this season?
Well, I mean, look at Villa when they first sort of got the managerial sort of change of Unai Emery. And a lot of people said, Emery, look at his Arsenal days, can he do it in the Premier League? And they just looked incredible. And their transfers have been brilliant. Lucas Digne, I think Digne was under Gerrard, to be fair, wasn't it? But, it's this window, even, Diaby from Leverkusen, a player that any team in Europe would want. This is why I say Premier League is massive. You're getting teams like Bournemouth, Villa, Everton, getting players that the top teams in Europe would want. Even a few years ago, sorry to go on a tangent, but when Fulham signed Jean-Michel Seri, Barcelona wanted him, and a Premier League mid-table team is getting him.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, Villa's signings this summer, I think they're close to best window of the summer for me. Pau Torres, Diaby, these players are players that have played in Europa League, Champions League, and they're at Villa. I think Palace are again a team that's going through a massive transition, out with the old, sort of in with this Elise, Mateta, Eze type of, sort of style of football. They're changing as well. And obviously, the manager that they've got, maybe it's going to be time soon for Roy to go, and for someone else to, like what they tried with Vieira. I think Vieira was treated absolutely terribly at Palace. But this one, again, I can only see one way, and it's Villa. They've played so well this season, but they've just come up against an incredible Liverpool side before the international break. And they were caught cold on that opening day against Newcastle. They weren't expecting. It was home, St. James's Park, Champions League this season. They just weren't expected to get hit by that. And that 5-1, yes, they got beat 5-1. I still, to this day, don't believe they should have lost by 5-1. It was not a 5-1. They just got hit by a very good Newcastle side on that day. Again, I'm going to go for the same scoreline, 2 or 3-0 to Villa. I just don't see, with that back line, yes, they've lost Mings, but with that back line, I think it's going to be hard to for Palace to break down. And what do you think about Tielemans as well? Tielemans has just signed, and now he's calling out the manager, saying, I'm not getting game time. Everyone
I know. I was when I saw that, I mean, mate, you just at the club, and pretty much you were in a bit of a terrible Leicester side for a bit, and no disrespect, it was this was probably not time. There's other players that have done well, such picked Henry, such as got John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, who have been a good, fantastic partnership. How can you break that down? So it's how he should know that when you play, when you can speak to a lot of Hibby's fans up here in Edinburgh, they will tell you that they have so much respect for John McGinn, and when he came back to play against them in the Europa Conference League playoff round, there was no booing. They all still respected because of what he did at the club short time, and him not going to Celtic was a big win for him. Especially getting the money, the deal for what they did. So, to quite honestly, there's huge respect for that. And like I said, Tillman is going to have to bide his time because you can't, if one of those players don't hit the form, yeah, you get a chance. But no disrespect, you can't replace Luiz or McGinn at the moment. You can't, because they're just two hugely good players at the moment for that type of formation that Emery wants to play.
I get it though. I mean, any footballer who goes into a team is not going to go there and say, "Oh, these are your two starting centre midfielders. All right, I'll just sit on the bench. No worries." Obviously, they're going to want to play, but like you said, Douglas Luiz. I mean, ever since he got rejected by Man City. Obviously had a few loan spells in Spain. He's found his feet, and now he's wanted by Man City. They're like, we got that wrong by letting him go. And John McGinn, what a player. He just controls the midfield. I think you've got Douglas Luiz, who, without saying rude, because it might sound rude that I don't actually rate him, but he just seems like a madhead, Luiz. He just runs around like everyone, chase everything down.
Yeah.
And then you've got McGinn next to him, who's a lot more mature, just brings the ball down, controls it, and just that's why that midfield works. Tielemans would be in there next to McGinn, and they're the both same player. So and you can't take McGinn out, because I think he's Villa's captain, isn't he?
He's Villa's captain, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not going to take McGinn out, and Douglas Luiz and McGinn and Tielemans won't work. So
no, because they both go through the same players. Yeah, no, I agree with that one. I agree. I think it's going to be 3-0 with Villa. I really do as well. Let's go to the other games today. Fulham at home to Luton. Actually will be fit after Hansi could make his Fulham debut. Captain Tom Kearney is out above missed knee problems. João Palhinha might feature. Sasha Lukic is out as well, having signed a new contract after his move to Bayern Munich fell through. Tom Lockyer for Luton has come off a fight injury. Tengen, Mendy, and Sabi Lonkon could make the debuts. Dan Potts and Jordan Clark out of ankle injuries, with Gabriel Oshaw still suffering a knee problem. Mike, let's talk about Luton. Do you think they're going to be breaking records this season? Probably the lowest team to have the most points, because you do worry about them with the squad they have at the moment, and if playing away from home is going to be tough for them.
Yeah, I do worry, but I don't get. I feel bad for them in a way because of the amount of stick that they're getting. I mean, Gareth Crooks the other day, people on Talk Sport saying that they're going to end the season with 0 points. I mean, look, they're going to get points. They are going to get points. They'll get a few wins at Kenilworth Road. They'll nick one away from home. When Huddersfield got promoted to the Premier League, they stayed up. Don't know how, but they stayed up because every single one of them were fighting for each other. And what you've got in this Luton side is you've got, again, this is no disrespect, but you've got rejected Premier League players that want to prove a point. Ross Barkley, Tahith Chong. These players are like, we want to prove a point. We want to show that we are good enough. And even the goalkeeper that they've just signed, Tim Krul, one of Netherlands' best goalkeepers, when he came on in that World Cup against Argentina. I think it was Argentina. I can't count. No, it was I can't remember who it was against.
It was I know which one you mean. Yeah, I think it was against Croatia. I just feel like they were trying to. I think it was against Croatia. I think he came on.
He came on and he saved all the penalties, and so they've got players in there that have played at this level and have won games at this level and been in winning sides. I just feel like I think they will go down. I think that's without a given. They will go down. But I just want to see them get a couple of wins at Kenilworth Road, maybe beat a big team. I think that's what everyone just wants to see. Obviously, Luton fans themselves are just hoping over a miracle. And if they do stay up, then wow, basically. And even if they go down, they're gonna have a massive payout. They're not gonna ever get relegated from the championship again. I don't think they'll just be a mid-table championship team, and then they can build that stadium and maybe have another attempt and another go at the Premier League in a few years' time.
Oh yeah, absolutely indeed. Yeah, absolutely indeed. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fulham. I think they've got the strong, and I think.
Yeah, sorry, I'll go Fulham as well. Sorry, I didn't give my prediction. I'll go 2-0.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-0 Fulham. Actually, I think this is gonna be too strong as well. Right, your other team, Manchester United against Brighton. I have to admit, no Anthony with his leave of absence, Jadon Sancho situation, when Mason Mount and Varane are still sidelined. Looks like Brighton are going to get, hopefully, Evan Ferguson back in time from a knee injury recovery. Danny Welbeck looks like he's going to return as well. And Ansu fighting Carlos Bale committed the debuts today. And this is going to be a tough game for Ten Hag today, isn't it? Especially against a really good Brighton side who have really done well, signing really good players.
Yeah, like I said, when they came into the Premier League, even they beat us at their ground to clinch or to seal survival with that Pascal Gross goal. They've beat us at Old Trafford. They've beat us again at. They did beat us at Old Trafford last season, didn't they, on the opening day?
Yeah, I beat you at Amex as well. Yeah,
I forget about that. They've done the double over us. So it's. Obviously, it's something that is in the back of my mind that they can beat us, and there's a chance that they will beat us. I just think that Rasmus Højlund will get the start from the get-go. His cameo against Arsenal, yes, obviously people on Twitter will say, well, he didn't score, he didn't do this, didn't do that. The impact that he had when he came on for like 25 minutes, he held the ball up. He had Gabriel and Saliba trying to bring him down, and he's still standing firm, and he's just not getting pushed off the ball. I think Rashford and whoever plays off the right will benefit from Højlund now. Now they've got a proper number 9. They'll benefit off not being able to take shots from 20, 30, 40 yards like Rashford does, because Højlund will be there in the box basically saying, what the hell are you doing? I'm here in the box waiting for these chances. And he's got a point to prove, because already £72 million, it's a big transfer fee, and already people are saying it's a waste of money. He's barely kicked the ball for United. So again, I think it comes with obviously Carl's not going to like this as a Leeds fan, but it comes with the privilege of being one of the best teams in the world. When you sign for Manchester United, you're automatically expected to be the best and to do everything. It's going to be a tough game. Very, very tough game, and it sounds weird saying Man United Brighton at Old Trafford, tough game, but it is. Ansu Fati, the fact that they have got the best player since Lionel Messi to come out of La Masia at Brighton, just even saying that doesn't sound right. Best young academy graduate out of La Masia, the best academy in the world, is at Brighton. Is just weird. Absolutely weird. I think someone said it on deadline day when they signed him, a Brighton fan. I read it on BBC Sport. They said, little old Brighton have signed Ansu Fati from Barcelona on loan. Let that sink in. I was like, bloody hell. Yeah, let that sink in. Like I said, tough game. Very tough. I think it'll be a lot of goals, because every time Brighton play, they score 4 a few. I'm going to go for a very high-scoring game, 4-2. to Manchester United.
I'm going to go the other way around. I'm going to say 4-2 to Brighton.
Yeah, and I could even see Brighton taking the 2-0 lead like Forest did, because we just seem to just not start quickly in games. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I know as well.
Noticing, why have you gone 4-2 Brighton? I know why. Oh, God. I really hope not.
You should know me too well anyway, especially I grew up across the F62, mate. So just remember that one. Right. Yeah. Let's go with Spurs against Sheffield United. I'm going to finish this quickly. Spurs, we hopefully get Son Mignolet and Christian Romero to be fit after the international scares. Lo Celso will miss out with a thigh strain. Tom Davies, a close match finish, could feature with Yana Lacoussi, with our defender Yasser Lacoussi, rookie, recovered from the back issue. Jones George Baldock, John Newgren, and Will Craig will be assessed after the Knox international break. No Ben Osborne and Max Lowe. I'm going to say Spurs winning 2-0. And I think Spurs under Ange and also now James Madison both winning both player and manager month. I think it was well. They've been absolutely tremendous, both the manager and the player this season.
Yeah, I'm not going to fall into the trap because every time I say it about Spurs, they do Spursy things. But do you know what? I'm going to say it. They're winning a trophy this year. I think they're going to actually win one, whether it's the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. I think they might win something because they've not got a big manager in this time, have they? They've not got a Jose. They've not got a Conte. They've not got someone like that. They've got Ange, who, yes, he's won the treble with Celtic, but it's not really that hard, is it? If you beat Rangers in the league or in the two cups, you're gonna win it pretty much. Play them in the final. So yes, he's done a good job in Scotland, but what he's got out of this Tottenham team is incredible. They beat Burnley 5-1, I think it was. When they came up, I said Burnley will not get battered at home, and then Spurs go and batter them 5-1. Obviously, Man City's a different story. But the team just looks like they've lost Harry Kane, but they just seem like they're more of a team now. And I put on Twitter the day Harry Kane left, Tottenham are going to be better this season without Kane. And I got slandered for it. And I said, no, they are going to be a better side without Kane. And James Maddison has gone from a relegation side, basically nearly single-handedly keeping Leicester in the Premier League, to a team where he deserves to be. Sorry, Chris, if you're watching, but he deserves to be playing as a top 6 team. And like I said, both of them winning an award was... I saw David Moyes' Bowen as a shout, which I agree could have been a possibility. But Maddison has taken that Harry Kane number 10 and he has took the... shirt numbers don't get talked about enough in football, how much they do mean to players. Maddison got... asked about it, I think it was after the Brentford game, and they said, you've got Harry's number, and he went, well, he's not wearing it now, I am. And I was like, that sort of mentality is immense. He's come here thinking, I'm here not to just play a bit part role, I'm here to make things happen. And they've got a good team. Son captain as well. Obviously, as you mentioned, just coming back from a slight knock from internationals. They look strong. I'm going to go for is it at Spurs, Cal?
It's at Spurs, yeah.
I'm going to go for another high score. I'm going to go 5-0. I think they just look incredible. I'm going to go 5-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go another high score as well. I'm going to go 4-0 win for Spurs. I really am, actually, as well. Man City away at West Ham. We expected Matt Djokovic, Matej Kovacic will miss with minor injury. Jack Grealish and Josh will remain sidelined, but we expected the Konstantinos Mitropoulos could make his debut after coming from back injury. Edison Alvarez had a delayed flight, returned late from international duty, but he could feature as well. Man City, West Ham have gone 15 games without winning against Man City since their 2-1 victory at the Etihad, and I can't see. I'm going to say this quickly. I think this is a straightforward Man City win. I think this is going to be a 3-1 win for Man City. I just can't see West Ham really, taking its chances.
I think the way West Ham win it is not doing what they've done all season and sit off, and it's so hard to do that because so far they've been excellent. West Ham, they've attacked teams apart from that Brighton game where they had like 20% possession, but the game against Chelsea, they were on Chelsea every time a Caicedo or an Enzo Fernandez touched the ball. A West Ham player was on them. Against Luton, you had Ward-Prowse whipping balls in left, right, and centre. It's an absolute crime he wasn't in the England team, James Ward-Prowse. And that's the way they would win it, is sitting off. And it's so hard to change a mentality from constantly attacking to then sitting off a team like Man City. It's at the Etihad as well. So you probably go with a home victory.
I know it's at the London Stadium. So that is
Oh, I was going to go 3-1, the same as you, but I still think they'll win. But I'm going to go 2-1. I think it'll be a bit tighter.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Then we've got the Saturday evening kick-off between Newcastle and Brentford. We know that he's expected to be fit. Sven Botman, he should be back in. Hopefully, Sandro Tonali, he's got a MI5 problem. He will be accessible as Anderson. We submit to the Miko Damsgaard as Slim Chan recovering as well. Neo Mope could make his first appearance after rejoining from Everton since he last played for the club in May 2019. Newcastle need to win this game, don't they, Mike? Because after the last, losing to Brighton in that fashion, and as well losing to Liverpool as well at home it's 2 games and they need to be better at.
Yeah, the thing is, it was difficult for Newcastle. Obviously, Champions League is a massive aspect. They start the season, like we mentioned earlier, when we mentioned Villa, by annihilating a very good Villa side. And then it's been obviously defeat to City, defeat to Liverpool, defeat to Brighton. It just seems like that. I genuinely think, and it's a bad habit to have. I mentioned it about Brighton against Villa before. I think they're looking at that Champions League game against Milan, and it's so scary that they're doing that now when you've still got games to go in the Premier League. I thought against Brighton, when they went 2-0 down, their heads just dropped. Yeah. Last season, that's not what we saw. When they went 1 or 2-0 down, Eddie Howe would be there on the touchline screaming at his players. They then get a goal back. The crowd rises. But even Eddie Howe, he just seems... I don't know what it is. Look, for a team like Newcastle to be back in the Champions League after 20-odd years is massive, but they cannot let this be a massive burden, because that Champions League group is a horror group. They've got to... They're not going to be back in the Champions League again if they don't sort their act out in the Premier League. And Brentford, I watched them against Newport in the Cup. Obviously, they beat us on penalties, but again, they didn't look that good. They were just passing it around. I think they had like 60-70% possession against us. Excuse me. But they just weren't doing anything with it. I think this could be a boring game, personally. I think both teams just look off it. They're not the teams that they were last season. Both teams were excellent last year. I'm going to go 1-1. I don't see many goals at all.
No, and I don't as well. I think it's just going to be a 1-1 draw as well. I have to 100% agree. I thought just if DT started so well, I thought I could have saw a high scoring goal chance, but I just don't see it at the moment. So I think you're right. I have to agree. I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw as well. Let's go to the last 3 games quickly as well. Sunday's games, we've got Bournemouth at home to Chelsea. We know that Marcus Smith and Marcus Tavernier and Alex Smith should be returning the fitness. Alex Scott is still a few weeks away from making his debut. Romeo Lavera, well, he's out with an ankle injury, he's saying during training. Reece James and also Amen Broya and Ben Bashir are new returns, but might not be involved this weekend. We have to talk about Pochettino's situation. It's not been a good start, Mike. They've really been struggling. Lost to Nottingham Forest at home, and they had so many chances as well. They're lacking a strike up front as well.
Yeah, personally, I think when everyone mentions bottle jobs, or I hate the word bottle jobs because it's such a vague analogy or term, but we obviously mentioned it with Spurs being Spursy. I think they've taken that off, and I think they've given it to Chelsea. I think it's Chelsea now, because Chelsea have spent all this money on, and you can't even say they're up and coming talent or
no
average. They're very, very exciting players. Enzo Fernandez won the Golden Boy at the World Cup, the best young player in the tournament. Moses Caicedo has been one of Brighton's best midfielders best players for the last 2 years. Nicholas Jackson was excellent for Villarreal last season. These players are not bang average players. Even the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, that Nottingham Forest goal. I mean, look, a lot of people say it's just good from Malanga, but come on, he's got to be saving that. And I don't know. I really don't know where Chelsea go. I think they're going to... Is it rude to say they're going to be happy if they get a top half finish? Because I'm looking down the table and looking at the teams trying to work out. They're not better than Brighton. They're not better than Aston Villa. They're not better than Newcastle. These teams, Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, who we're mentioning just below the top 4, just, like 6th, 7th, 8th. Chelsea are nowhere near that. So, are Chelsea going to finish 9th? Are they going to finish 10th? I generally think Bournemouth are going to get something off them as well. I'm going to go 1-1. I just don't see Chelsea beating these teams.
I know. I what I'm going to say, it might be controversial. I think Bournemouth could edge out this game against Chelsea. I think they can. It will be a tight one, but I think Bournemouth will edge out. I'm going to go with Bournemouth 2-1.
Yeah, and 2-3 years ago, I'd have said, "What the hell are you on about?" But now I'm like, do you know what? Maybe 1-1 is a bit harsh on Bournemouth. Maybe they could win it. So, and what their new manager has done, I know I'm going to try and pronounce it, but what he's done, he's added this bit of like this Spanish flair and this bit of European flair. I like it. Yeah, they look a good team. They'll stay up as well.
I think they will stay up as well too. Everton against Arsenal. Listen, Everton's got new owners now, Mike. There's been conversation with the Citizen Investments. There was some protests about from Sandy Leach how they run the club. A part of it. They own Heribel Lane. They own a stake in Sevilla. This is worrying because, like I said, Everton have really been struggling this season, and I know they got Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming back, but they had a good draw against Sheffield United. But they need wins. But against this Arsenal side, I think this is going to be virtually impossible.
Well, you say that, but Arsenal have not beaten Everton at Goodison since Arsene Wenger left the club. So, Everton have a great record. And obviously, Dyche got his first win at Everton last season when he beat Arsenal. True. I don't think Arsenal will lose, but I don't think Everton will win. I think it'll be a draw just purely based off the fact that, they've got the hype of this new takeover. They're going into their new stadium. They've got this belief again that, because Everton realistically should be chasing Europe with the size of the fan base and the recent, or not recent, but the European adventures that they have had in like the Europa League and stuff like that. So that's going to give them a bit of belief, going to give them a bit of confidence, bit of a boost. And I think they'll get something off Arsenal. They won't beat them because, again, this Arsenal team can be incredible. But we've seen this Arsenal team have vulnerabilities. Fulham at the Emirates. It is afternoon now. Afternoon, Doug. I'm filling in for you today. But I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. It's going to be a really tight affair. And I don't think Arsenal know exactly how tight it'll be and how tough it'll be for them to get something.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think Everton can equal the longest home winning streak against the Gunners of 4 matches versus 4 matches from 1910 to 1913. The last time Everton had the longest home winning streak against the Gunners back then. And Arsenal's only victory in the past 7 victories was Arsene Wenger in winning 5-2 in October 2017. It's hard. Yeah. I think this is a good. You wrote what you said. I can see this as a draw. I can see this as a goal. I don't think I can see this as a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go with you this one, Mike. I think actually you just bait me. You just push me around to that.
It could go the other way though, couldn't it? Arsenal could turn up there, smash the record away, say records are there to be broken, beat them 3-0. It could go that way, but I just sense something with Dyche. I think he'll get Everton out of this somehow. I don't know how, but people are saying he's going to get sacked. I think he's going to somehow keep them up. I don't know how, but I just love Sean Dyche for his morals and everything like that. So I hope
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I have to agree with that one. And like Doug said, Arsenal's got a rotten record on Merseyside, and that is
both sides as well. They have an awful record at Anfield, don't they? So that's also true.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true as well.
About Tranmere. Well, that's not really Merseyside, is it? But I don't know what their record is at Tranmere.
It's more than Wirral. So
yeah,
fair enough. Right, let's go to the last game. Nottingham Forest against Burnley. We do expect some team. Burnley will remain without Michael Olufemi and Haja Ekado due to injury. Aaron Ramsey and Vitinho available again. We expect Aaron Zori returns after a 3-match ban, Nottingham Forest will be without Danilo after a hamstring issue. Serge Aurier and Anthony Langer both face fitness tests of their respective injury problems. Forest look a little bit different now, I have to say. I think there's more belief, they got some more better players now are really coming in. I think for Burnley, will struggle again on Monday night.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest's signings have been incredible. Sangare, who is a player that I wanted at Manchester United. He's a very good technical, but also a rock. Yes, he's got a good pass on him, but as a CDM, he literally will just sit right in front of that back four and just act as a sweeper. Any sort of loose ball picks up, pass it into someone else. He's a really good signing. And Origi as well. That really shocked me when they announced that, Divock Origi. I was like, okay, that could be a really good one as well. But I'm going to sit on the other side of the fence. I think Burnley. I really like Burnley. Last season, I watched them closely. I watched a lot of the Championship, and they just looked like a team that was ready for the Premier League. Vincent Kompany looks an exceptional manager. Zahore looks good. Lyle Foster up front. Jordan Bayer at the back. And James Trafford is a very, very good goalkeeper at his age. Another couple of good games he had for England under 21s in the recent internationals. I think they'll get a win here. I think they've been unlucky. They've had obviously Man City on the opening day. They didn't have a second game because their game against Luton got postponed. Then they got Tottenham. So they've had two massive tests, both at Turf Moor as well. And obviously, all three games they've had this season are at Turf Moor, I believe. Is it at the City Ground or is it at Turf Moor?
It's at City Ground this night.
This is their first away game of the season as well, so they're going to want to give the away fans, something to, really bounce off. And I think Forest are going to be, unfortunately, still living off that Stamford Bridge win. So I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley. I think they're going to do it in old Burnley fashion by winning 1-0, but it's not going to be the way that Burnley used to play. It's going to be a nice, easy Burnley. Easy on the eye.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go with Burnley. I think it'll be 2-1 win for Burnley. I think Forest will come to this game, but I think Burnley will edge it out, and they will just I just see Burnley. I think Vincent Kompany getting his first win, in the Premier League. I think that'd be huge for them to kickstart their season. Really do for Burnley.
A lot of people want to slander them and said they're rubbish. They're going to get relegated. I'm like, look at what they've played. They've played against the best team in the world. Hate to say that. And then they played against a revitalised Tottenham. They've not had a third game. They've already had an international break. Their pre-season, started early because Kompany let them go on pre-season early because they won the league felt like by Christmas. So, they've had different things going on. They wanted to sign Nathan Tella, couldn't get him. Wanted to sign Ian Maatsen, couldn't get him as well because clubs are being too greedy, asking for like 40 million for Ian Maatsen. And with all that taken into account, they've played well in the league against City and Tottenham. They played well against both of them.
Absolutely. And Doug just said one thing. Just recently, Burnley did win in the Carabao Cup too at Forest just before the international break. So Burnley, so.
That's going to give them a whole lot of confidence in their saying we've already done this before. Just do it again.
Absolutely, indeed. Mike, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I appreciate that. Where can everyone find you on your socials?
Yeah, so not really on socials as much, just keep it on YouTube just because it's just 10 times easier. But yeah, Mike Green is the channel. There will be a vlog coming out around 6 o'clock for Newport against Barrow. Hopefully Dom Telford doesn't come back to bite us on the ass for the second team that he signed for. He played for Crawley last season, scored 2 at Rodney Parade, and he signed for Barrow. So I hope we don't do the same thing again this afternoon. And then a couple of fan cams after the game as well. So, yeah, thanks for getting me on, Carl. It's been an absolute pleasure nattering about football.
Absolutely. Mike, take care. Have a good afternoon, mate.
Speak to you later. And good luck to Millwall on the weekend. Just joking.
Yeah, but good luck to Brighton as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Speak to you later, mate. Bye.
Yeah, take care. Bye. Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate that indeed as well. Let's just finish off on some things as well before I just get the screen back up to myself as well. This is taking time. It's a bit slow today. Yes, now we're back up. So as we finish that, you can, if you want to miss this show, please listen to this again later on after the show live is recorded, is ended, the live stream's ended. And also, please, we're going to put this on the podcast on the go as well. You can find us at the Carl, at myself at Carl Levy92 on Twitter. I don't care if it's X. You can find the Ellis Football Pod Twitter as well on Twitter as well. And also, you can actually find us on Instagram and also on Threads. And I'll tell you the Instagram link, where you can find us. You can follow us. We have got some videos on there. You can follow us at here at the moment, just to make sure. At the Total Leaving Home Football, that is our hashtag. That is our find us at Leaving Home Football. You can find me at Kelly Hoods 92 as well, and also on the Threads as well on the other Instagram channel. Just bring it up as well because it's been a busy day. You can find us at Leaving Home Football at threads.net. And also, you can find us here on the YouTube channel at the Total Leaving Home Football Podcast. And you can find us all on the podcast streaming services such as Apple, Google, and other platform services as well. And actually, I'd like to say thank you very much to Mike Green for joining us as well today. Appreciate that, mate, for joining me as well, especially Doug. He's busy way doing online baby natal practice. So he's getting ready for his first child with his wife Rebecca. Good to see him. Doug popping in this as well, just about as well too. And also, yes, and that is the end of the show as well. Thank you for watching us, and please keep subscribing as well on the go as well. I will be back on hopefully Monday or Tuesday after all the games, and we'll talk about all the roundup of all the fall leagues and some European leagues as well. Have a good weekend. Take care for now, and it's bye for me.